everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining Quarantine Chats. This is night 4. I'm so excited to, close it out with music and some of my favorite people. My name is Michelle Hockett, and I'm the founder of It's Epic, and I'm also a content marketing media specialist at Spotify.
I would define pop music as literally popular music, right? And like what people are listening to.
Right, like pop music, there's the label structure of pop music, which is your Katy Perry's, your Taylor Swift's. Like pop music has just become your standard 3.5 minute song with like 16 bars and like repetitive, stuff. But then there is the actual literal definition of pop music being popular music, and then that's, I think, when you can consider hip hop as part of the actual definition of pop music.
Pop music, like the term, like pop music industry, when it first originated, was honestly like a highly discriminatory like way to basically like upkeep white supremacy in the music business. To be completely honest, like
I'm gonna say something that might sound wild, but I really feel like one of the pioneers in urban music is Soulja Boy. And the reason why I'm saying that is like
that is not wild. Please go on.
I know, but it's like people always have like a very like iffy view on Soulja Boy overall. But like when you look back and think about how Soulja Boy kind of popped up on the scene and how he used like sites like LimeWire to do that and like MySpace, it's really crazy how like traditionally you would never see Soulja Boy on a billboard in the early 2000s.
I don't know if it's a person, more of just the importance of the blog era. I think like the level of access the internet gave, to Layla's point with the internet, like the level of access just really changed everything. Because before you had to rely on the radio, you had to rely on things that were curated for you, for your hometown, for the people. And then all of a sudden you could go to, Pigeons and Plains or Complex or whatever some 22-year-old editor from LA thought was cool. You got put on to new things, and then that leads into the creation of streaming and the ease of access to music. Just to tie back to Soulja Boy real quick, like that was all Free Loose Productions, right? It's super easy to make that beat, but when you don't have to go to a studio to make a beat anymore, and you can upload it to, at the time, LimeWire, or you could upload it to, I guess, MySpace at the time, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, like those things that could catch on. Like I think it's a combination of things, and I think it kind of goes in just the ease of access just changed so much because the output.
I think traditionally when we think of like major endorsements, Pepsi is one of those brands that if you are an artist that gets like a Pepsi endorsement, like you've pretty much made it. You've solidified yourself in that pop star level, right? So to me, it's like in 2002, you had the Britney Spearses of the world like getting those major endorsement deals, and now in 2020, like Cardi B has a partnership with Pepsi. Like if that's not a culture shifter, that's crazy to me.
Other genres will definitely try, but I don't know if it's gonna be the same like essence, like because what makes it so great is obviously like the actual like live, but like I feel like what really takes it to 10 is like the comments, like the inside jokes, the Twitter jokes, and like I don't know if like any other genre could really capture that. So I don't know. All in all, I think like there's gonna be some like vanilla version of it, but it's not gonna be as great.
There's no difference between Future and Lil Dicky. There's no difference between Future and any other rapper ever, right? It's like, obviously the content is different, but music is a free artistic license, Like, I don't think Guns N' Roses, when they did their songs about, like, having sex with every groupie, where they're having sex with every groupie and throwing stuff in every hotel room, like, music is just artistic license. It's on the consumer, just like any other piece of like Grand Theft Auto or whatever, to take things as fact. And Future is a nice guy. Future can rap all these songs for fuckboys all he wants, but that is on the consumer to go, that is appropriate stuff for me to do.
100%. I think that especially like Michelle, you and I were talking about this, I think like yesterday. I think we're at a point now where life is now going to be categorized as like pre-COVID and post-COVID. And I feel like in a post-COVID world where we literally have been doing nothing for the last like 8-9 weeks but consuming content, like people are just trying to figure out what type of content they're going to create and push out there. And I feel like music videos, especially post-COVID, are not going to be going anywhere, especially when you strip away the opportunity for people to like consume live music. The next best thing is watching your artist like perform in a music video. So I think that even if there was a slight decline in the last couple of years, and personally I don't think there was, like I think that for artists it's just as important to create visuals as it is to create the actual music. I think that it's only going to go up from here.
I feel like at first people will like try to go that route, but I feel like at the end of the day people will see through the BS. So like if you try to go that route, like maybe you'll have your viral moment or whatever, but at the end of the day, like if you're a real one, you're gonna make like what you wanted to make, and then that's what's really gonna work. So like I feel like people like may feel that pressure to cater to more to that sound, but then you're gonna wind up making like what you truly intended to make one day.
Off the top of my head, like I think of Igor, one, because I'm a Tyler fan, but I remember the statues to start popping up around like New York, LA, London, whatever the case is, and it made me think like the last time you had saw Tyler musically, like he was finally accepted in the mainstream, right? Just like, you know, 5-panel hats and like t-shirts and the sneakers, whatever, and just kind of like looked normal for once. And then the very next album, he's in a wig and this, and you don't know anything yet. You see these Tyler the Creator statues around, and then these, it's really simple, like these 15-second video drops of the music, which had sounded completely different than before, and you're just constantly hit with what is going on? What is this look? What is this going on? It was so simple and so, it looks very like cheap to produce in a way, but it just really captivated me. I remember seeing it trending on Twitter because it was like, what is going on with this music? This does not sound like the music that was on the previous album. And then the music came out and I was like, whoa, like this is just different.
But I find it so interesting because I feel like when things are so up in the air or we're in a tough situation, naturally what humans do is adapt to their situation. And I'm curious to see how the music industry is going to adapt to the lack of live shows and concerts. I read an article recently about, I think it's Belgium, I could totally be wrong, apologies if that's the wrong place, but they were talking about doing like drive-in concerts the way that you would do a drive-in like movie theater. So basically you pull up in your whip, you sit there and you watch a show from your car. And I remember thinking like, wow, that's really crazy, but also like really smart. And obviously a drive-in concert isn't ideal in a place like New York City. Like obviously, you know, us living in New York, we go to these big stadium shows at like MetLife or whatever, but I feel like the heart and soul of New York City are these like smaller venues that you go to see your artists, like, you know, in this intimate small setting. And I don't really think there's a way to recreate that virtually, but I'm interested to see how close we're actually gonna get.